Warhammer on a Wednesday. How's it going? So far, so good here. It is Veterans Day here in the US. If you're watching from somewhere else. We have a Jessica in chat. Jessica, we're building orcs today. A rare thing to happen here on my stream. The stream ruined. Jessica's here. No. So as you all know, well, I think most of you know, my son has an orc army. My son Benjamin loves orcs. Oh, that's pokey. And so it's like, because my son has an orc army, it's essentially my third army. So every once in a while we get something new for it. And I don't know if Talnak is around. I haven't seen him lately, but Talnak had sent us over at Hyper some really cool stuff, and it gave me the idea to get one of the models for us. So was it last year, the year before? They came out with new orc models, all of these Speed Freaks. They're super fast, fun vehicles. And so I built, so Talnak, this was one of the ones that he sent to Hyper that I built. Now this one, I had a blast. I built this stock, and then I added a ton of extra orky parts onto it. So basically every spare part that the kit came with, I added on additionally, and then added on a bunch of stuff from other kits. Oh, there you are, Talnak. So yeah, Talnak. So this is one that I built from what you had sent. And yeah, like I said, I just had so much fun doing it. It came with a bunch of little missiles that you could do here. So, or no, where were the other ones? I don't know. Like, I added a bunch of extra. It's a lot. Like, if you looked at a standard version of this model and looked at this one, it would be pretty different. Basically everywhere there was a flat space, I stuck more things on from other orc kits. And I had a really crazy idea, but I ran out of room for it. I thought, because oh yeah, it's got to be red once I get around to painting it. The kit for the boys comes with a bunch of extra arms, and it's like an arm holding a pistol and an arm holding an axe and things like that. So what I was thinking would be great is if you had a kit like this where it was a vehicle with, you know, like a big fuselage or a big main body, essentially cut a hole in the body and then have one of those arms sticking out with any weapon. It doesn't really matter, as though there are more orcs inside just trying to get in the fight. So I'll have to do that with an orc vehicle in the future. But yeah, so today, so again, this is Hyper's, but this one is ours. I got this for my son. So this is the Shokkjump Dragsta. Now I have to admit, I can never get the names of these things straight. I always forget which one is which. So Shokkjump Dragsta, which means this is the... Oh, man. It's not the Snaz Wagon, because that's the one that Jessica has. I don't know. I can't remember. I think the only one I haven't built is the Rucka Truck Squid Buggy. But yeah, so this one should be fun. This is the one that looks very much like a race car itself. Megatrack Scrap Chat, thank you. The names are so great. I can never, and like I said, I can never keep track of them. So this one that I'm building, or it's going to start today, I don't know if I'll be able to finish it, but it comes on one giant sprue, which is pretty cool. Hey, Lackey. And then, of course, we have the instructions. So there's old style instructions, old already in 8th edition, where it gives you a bunch of data sheets in different languages, which is always kind of fun to look at and see what things look like in other languages. Whereas, of course, now in 9th edition, you just get one mini condensed data sheet with a bunch of weird symbols on it that you have to remember what everything means. And yeah. So I'm just starting out with this one, and we'll be building this and talking about orcs today. Yeah, so I was saying at the top that it is Veterans Day here in the US, which meant that my son does not have school today, so we actually all got to sleep in. It was, well, not last night, the night before was actually Max's first night in his big boy bed, which was quite eventful. But last night was the first night that he actually slept through the night in it, so that was cool. All right, we've got the beginning of one of the, I'm going to call it a pilot in this. Driver, pilot. Making sure it goes. It's a little hard to see these. Okay, cool. So that's going to go there. Yeah, so we got, and then because Benjamin didn't have to get up for school, I figured, well, I'm going to sleep in a little bit too, which is nice. So yeah. It's been a few days since the election, since every rational and reasonable thing called the election, and we're still dealing with that. Cornflakes. We have a very interesting relationship with our veterans in this country. We don't need to get too political here, but there's a writer that I highly recommend everybody follows if you don't already. He goes by the internet name of Stone Kettle. His name is Jim. He is a veteran and a really amazing writer. He writes these incredible political essays, responds to everything that's going on. He's also an amazing photographer. He's a woodworker. The guy is pretty remarkable. So if you're looking for somebody to follow to get some interesting takes on things, highly recommend it. Again, he goes by Stone Kettle on Twitter and Facebook. But he's said some really interesting things about Veterans Day in particular, and about how this country sort of we basically cosplay as loving our veterans, and like the standard thing whenever you see a veteran, you say, people have the gut reaction to say thank you for your service, and it doesn't really mean anything. And how a lot of veterans, they don't really want to be reminded of their service or talk about it. Some do, of course. But like I said, just really, really interesting stuff. So if you want maybe a different perspective, he is definitely one I would recommend checking out. I don't know if we have any veterans here who are watching, but if we do, and if you are so inclined, and it is something that you look back on with satisfaction or pride or whatever it might be, then I would offer a thank you for your service. But like I said, people are complicated, even and maybe especially veterans. But it is important to remember and think about people who have done and sacrificed things for our country. All right, so we start with this big old bottom piece. I've got the feet in there, and then this back section, which is going to be the really cool engine in the back area. And we'll go from there. Looks like the next part is going to be some floorboard. Sorry I brought it down with some serious talk. How's everybody doing? All right, we need parts 54 and 59. Looks like this one. And what does 59 look like? It's a little... Oh, there it is. over here. Yeah, so typically with my orc stuff, I'll build the whole thing as the instructions dictate, and then look for places to further customize it. Sometimes I'll try to keep an eye out for possible things along the way, but again, with these kits these days where everything fits together pretty well, you don't have to worry about gaping holes or anything. Okay, let's see. Ooh, putting grots in the engines, that'd be good. Let's see. Marvel's. Oh, Arsenal Roy, you're starting the Ultramarines comic book. Is it good, or is it just crazy? I have not read any of it. I haven't really heard people talking about it. I mean, I know there's a good team working on that. But yeah, I've not heard much. Oh, thank you, Squirrel. Sorry you had to wake up super early. Get this thing in here. And yes, Eridance. Well, at least that's how the orcs do it. Rob, that does sound familiar. Yeah. Oh, Arsenal Roy. Yeah, that's true. If you're not familiar with that, especially that corner of the Warhammer universe. Whew. Sniffing that glue. Yeah, Ultramarines are they're a thing. We talk about Ultramarines a fair amount here, and you've heard me talk about them on Hyper as well. And as Bert would say, I'm sure. Well, I don't know. Does that comic mainly deal with, is it Xenos or is it Chaos? But either way, a lot of times the stories will have whatever the bad guy is in the story. They'll seemingly be getting their upper hand, and then of course at the very end, the Ultramarines will just destroy everything. Because that's what they do. Alright, so we've got a floorboard that goes in. Wait, where does this thing go? Here? Oh, yeah, all the way in the back. Okay, cool. And then these are... I don't know what those are. But I shall glue them in. Yeah, so if you are unfamiliar with the Orks in 40k, as people are talking about in the chat, their technology works on belief. They essentially have it's like a psychic hive mind, and as long as they believe it'll work, their technology, then it'll work. So none of it makes any sense. If anybody else tries to pick up one of their guns or tries to operate one of their vehicles, it will not work. But for the Orks, it works. Which, aside from just being ridiculous, is actually a really neat idea. Ooh, that was a good... Oh, I love it when you put in a piece and then it snaps in. Oh, so good. Some black armored chapter worshipping corn. Ooh, interesting. Is it Black Legion and it's just a corn specific section of Black Legion? Darrow says, what do you call a dinosaur with a strong vocabulary? A thesaurus. Oh, an oldie but a goodie. It makes complete sense. Yeah, of course. Nice. Yeah, and then, because the great thing about the orcs is that, oh, wow, this looks complicated. Okay, so I'm building the front sort of saw blade bits, and it's a lot of pieces that you have to put together in order. So I need to do this carefully. No, they're all down here. That's fun. Yeah, exactly, Rob. So yeah, people take the idea of, well, whatever the orcs believe in, it just happens for them, and yeah, they expand it to basically anything else in the Warhammer 40k universe. Like, how will chaos be defeated one day? Well, the orcs will just decide they're not interested in anymore, and then they won't be around. And yeah, the emperor theory is so great. So we have 58, 22, 30, 14. Oh, there are lots of parts on this model that are super spiky. I keep jamming my finger right onto them. And then 23. Okay, good. All right, got all of my parts. You don't think the orcs know what the emperor is? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Arsenal. There are, yeah, obviously there are lots of different Chaos Space Marine factions, and then yeah, they might have made up a new one for the comic, so they can make up some new characters. But yeah, so the Black Legion, they are the remnants, the descendants of the sons of Horus, who were the Luna Wolves way back when, before the heresy. They were a Space Marine Legion. Primarch was Horus. You might have heard his name. And then, yeah, they became the Sons of Horus right before Horus himself fell to chaos. And then, obviously, they didn't do so well in the heresy, but they survived. And then later on, they became the Black Legion under Abaddon, or Abaddon, depending on how Games Workshop is choosing to pronounce it today. And unlike... So you have things like Emperor's Children obviously worship Slaanesh, or devoted to Slaanesh. Death Guard, again, obviously for Nurgle. But then there are Chaos Space Marine factions, mostly Black Legion, but that worship Chaos in what's called... Oh my god, how do these go together? Chaos Undivided. So they actually worship all of the Chaos gods, even though they are so very different. It just works for them, and they worship them all. So you'll have So if you build or play Black Legion, you can have different units that are devoted to different gods to get different benefits, essentially, and it all works for them. So like I was saying in the beginning, you can have Black Legion people or war bands that are devoted to any of the gods at any given time. I'm trying to figure out how these go together. The picture is not great. Let me look at this a little bit closer. Let's look at this picture a little bit closer. Okay, so if the blades angle forward, then I think it looks like this. This is a little bit more complicated than I expected it to be. Oh, I see. The middle fits in. Okay, okay. No. Like this. Like this. No. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how this... Why does this not fit together? What am I doing wrong here? Did I put the pieces in the wrong order? I thought I had them in the right order. Okay, so that has an indentation there, but that does not have... Uh-oh. Okay, that fits together. Okay, I think I somehow put the pieces in the wrong order. That's kind of crazy. Shoot. Oh my goodness. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment while I try to figure out what I did here. Okay, here. Oh wait, here we go. Here we go. I think I got it. Oh, okay. Wow, that was super crazy. I must have cut them out in the wrong order somehow. Let me make sure that'll fit. Okay. Whew, we're good. I just need to make sure now I glue it in the right order. Okay. Whew. That was crazy. Let me get back to chat real quick. Yeah, the Abaddon model is awesome. I don't have. I was thinking of getting one. I was thinking of getting an Abaddon and then converting it to be just a Slaneshi Demon Prince. I have not gone that way. And then yeah, as Zardoz mentions, there are other traitor legions that don't really ally themselves with any one god, and kind of like Chaos Undivided, the Iron Warriors and the Night Lords. They don't love the whole demonic thing anyway, so they just kind of stay away from it. But yes. Lackey asks, do I use any magnifiers when painting? And I try not to. Now I know people have differing opinions on this, and there is some controversy. But the really expert painters that I know and have talked to have said, essentially, if you need it, use it, but try not to get used to it. That essentially using a magnifier can become kind of like a crutch. And if you get used to using it all the time, then you'll need it all the time. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I do have a headband mounted magnifying device that I will use for like the tiniest, most minute details. Mainly, I find that for me, the most important thing is just having enough light, and then I'm pretty good. But yeah, there are definitely things like eyeballs and lenses and things that yeah, I need a little bit more close up. Thankfully, I am nearsighted, so that also helps. Yeah, and I'm not saying it's I don't know that there's anything necessarily bad or wrong with it. I was just taught by painters who said try not to use it unless you need to. Zarda says, "Uh-oh, you're gonna do something silly." Okay, I can't wait. Just share it with the class so we can all see. But yes, the answer is yes. I do have magnifiers that I do use on occasion. I also have terrible light in my house in the normal places where I paint, which is a bummer. And we have overhead lights, and like one of them is going out, and it's kind of rough. I should just do my painting here, where I have the lights from my streaming. Okay. Oh, that's finally figured this out. Oh, okay, Arsenal. I will get to that as soon as I am done. Yeah, I can't say I was surprised when they went with Ultramarines for the first comic book. I might say I was a little bit disappointed, but not surprised. They're the flagship. The boys in blue. All right, we got our blades. So anybody we ram with the front of this thing will get chopped up. Love it. Okay, now we can move on. 47, we're gonna get the front piece here. There's a YouTube channel, Tabletop Minions. If you're in the hobby, you may have heard of it. Run by a dude named Uncle Adam, ATOM. Although they run a disclaimer at the beginning of his videos, he is not actually an uncle, which is very silly. But he's a good dude. Does a ton of video content. But he has some videos on his channel that are essentially about hobbying as you get older and what it means and how you can adjust and use things to help you being able to see better and being able to hold things better. And I've definitely watched a few of those videos and enjoyed them. I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's an aged. He's experienced. Definitely been in the hobby for a while. He's probably, I don't know, he's probably my age. Okay, so this is going to fit right over the top. Good. The glue on here. I can always paint while streaming. I have. I have painted while streaming in the past. Give me some credit. But, and again, to be honest, like, normally mornings in the Rubin house are pretty hectic with getting the kids up and Benjamin to school, and we're usually pretty tired. So, morning time painting is not always the best for me as far as being able to focus, see what I'm doing. But I have, and I will again. I still need to finish those Blood Bowl Orks. Oh, hey, somebody was supposed to remind me about Blood Bowl. Wait a minute, wait. Oh, Darrow, you bought a second Thraka? Oh my goodness, what are you going to do with it? I'm very much considering getting a Thraka for Benjamin. Because, my god, is that a cool model. Yeah, Tabletop Mini it's good. He pads some of his videos a little more than I would have needed, but yeah, no, it's good, solid content. Did I see the Kickstarter that launched yesterday? The 3D pop-up train says, "Oh no, I if it's the one I'm thinking of, I had seen when the creator first talked about it a little while ago. I didn't see that the Kickstarter was actually up. I'll have to take a look, unless it's something different." It was me. I reminded myself. All right, cool. So we've got the front is coming together. Looks nice. Yes, so I wanted to talk briefly about Blood Bowl. If you were watching Hyper right before the pandemic hit, you will remember that we started playing Blood Bowl over there. I've been playing Blood Bowl for a couple of years, I guess. Blood Bowl is incredibly silly. It can be super fun. Talk about a game that can be just the most frustrating thing ever. But that's why you have to go into it with the right mindset. So that says it's the perfect game. It's great. It is just insanely ridiculous. It is basically American football. And the way it works is that to do anything in the game requires a ton of dice rolling. And the first time you fail a dice roll on your turn, it's a turnover and it switches to the other team, essentially. So a lot of the strategy in the game comes with just figuring out everything you want to do on your turn and ranking it in order of risk in the dice rolling. So you do everything first that doesn't require dice rolling, and then move on to things that you have to roll but are probably easier for you, and then blah 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 blah. Again, in a very small nutshell. So I had actually been, like I said, been playing Blood Bowl for a little while. We started doing it at Hyper, and it was going great, I have to say. Lucas really took charge, built this whole system. We were going to do essentially fantasy football for a fantasy football game, which was great. We started playing around with it. We had it running on stream. It was so great. We did what, three episodes? And then the pandemic hit. So that was the end of that. I'd like to do it again there once things go back to normal. I don't know what's in store for any of that, obviously. But meanwhile, during the pandemic, there's a new version of Blood Bowl that came out. So now I need to learn that. Games Workshop came out with another preview article just a couple days ago, and it looks really great. They've updated some things. It sort of went from like 7th edition Warhammer to 8th edition Warhammer as far as how some of the rules work, which I can appreciate. Instead of giving you instead of your agility being a certain number, then you have to think of 7 minus that number is what you need to roll. Now the stat lines just say just give you a target roll number, which is so much better. They separated out essentially agility versus your passing ability, which is cool. So you can have agile characters who aren't necessarily good at throwing, or vice versa. It looks like there's a different system for determining if somebody is open or being marked by opponents. So you don't necessarily have to count every player whose tackle zone you're in for everything. It looks like it cuts out some of the detail there, but I think it's probably a good change as well. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I don't know when I will have a chance. I don't think I'm going to buy the new set. I'll probably just get the rule book, because again, I already have I have 3 teams, 2 built, 1 mostly painted, a third that I've started to build. I have a 4th team in a box that I cannot find, which is driving me crazy. Somewhere in this house, there's a Blood Bowl team, new in the box, and I can't find it. Unless I took it to Hyper and to show it off and then I left it there, but I don't think so. Frustrating. Anyway. So yeah, I'll probably just get the new rule book and go from there. 13. Yeah, and what Rob Vegas said. The fact that, yes, the Blood Bowl video game and the Blood Bowl tabletop game were the exact same, and the exact same rules, so you could learn one and be able to play the other one, was absolutely fantastic. Also, yes, why it's based on American football. Anybody's guess. I like some of the answers that chat has provided. Oh, Thaco. Yeah, I'm not sad about Thaco. No, of course, Barking Darrow. Yes, you were very, very kind to send us some painted teams. John built a team and has it painted. I think did Fob and Nox have teams? I can't remember. But yeah, there are other teams around as well. And I have friends who play and have even more teams, so we would have potentially access to other teams for something in Hyper. One day. And if they don't want to do it, then maybe I'll do it here. I told you that a couple of years ago, the group of friends that I'm in that sometimes, well, used to play role-playing games, that one of the guys really wanted to do AD&D. I'm like, okay. And it was no fun. Like negative fun. Which I didn't think was possible. Alright, so we're building the exhaust system, and there are a couple of them, because Orks. Come on, Glue. There we go. Oh, Darrow, I guess I don't I guess I don't have that command. I don't have a couple of like standard commands, for some reason. Sorry. Yeah, some people have strong nostalgia for especially second edition Dungeons & Dragons, AD&D. I don't. I have the books. I have played it a couple times in my life, but I like looking at the books, but I don't really have any desire to go back and play it again. It's pretty annoying. All right, so we have that system done. Let's do the other side at the same time. 28 and 29. I mean, it's an important part of Dungeons & Dragons history. But that doesn't mean we should go back and play it again. Chop. Alright, cool. Right, Black Cavalier, yes. Yeah, I don't mean to... It's more complicated than how I'm explaining it, yes. The history of the different editions of Dungeons & Dragons. People often, yeah, just conflate, for sake of casual talk, the AD&D with second edition. But yeah, there are technically not exactly the same. Hey, new editions bring good stuff. Usually. Not every new edition is good. We could fight about that all day long for every game. And some editions are worth going back to, and some are not. Okay. I wish orc vehicles came with like a mechanical guide that told you what all the parts were called. That would be fun. Like one of those Haynes manuals. Yeah, Cameron's Mazes and Monsters video is great. Do I remember the word segments for Colbert Report? I don't. I didn't watch a lot of that show. I'm not a big late night or late night-y kind of shows guy. I watched it on occasion. Lackey, yes, we love tangents. Sometimes I plan out tangents. Okay, so we have the two, whatever you want to call these things. I need 25. Yeah, so this was part of the release in 8th edition of the Speed Freaks. And Speed Freaks is something that's been around in Warhammer for a long time, and they brought it back. There was a boxed game that came with, so basically a board game that came with a bunch of these new vehicles, and then they sold them separately as well. And yeah, they just brought back the idea that orcs love their really fast vehicles. You do not have to paint them red, but I mean, come on, if you don't, you're doing something wrong. If you are unfamiliar, the orcs also believe that red makes things go faster. So a lot of orcs will paint their vehicles red. Sometimes, depending on the edition you're playing, sometimes there's a rule that if your model is painted red, it can go a little faster, potentially, which is hilarious. Orcs have a very strong sense of color, which is odd because you might wonder, like, being fungus, what their eyesight would necessarily look like. But yeah, different colors have different things for them. But how does this work? Okay. But yes, red is for speed. Did I just do this right? Yeah. Yeah, purple is the orc color for stealth and invisibility. So if you're a member of a Warhammer hobby and painting group, every so often you'll see people talk about, they'll say, "Hey, what do you think of these new purple orcs I painted?" And it'll just be a picture of bases. They'll be like, okay, we get it. That comes up every so often. It's like, yeah, okay. Somebody did the joke, reset the clock, give it a little bit of time until we do it again. Oh yeah, and so along with the new version of Blood Bowl, there's some new teams that essentially they took some existing teams and then altered them a bit. So there's a new human team that's some new models, and then yeah, they broke up the orcs. So now you can play standard orcs, you can play a black orc, like the black orc blockers, but you can basically make a team of that's mostly them, and then they have support and stuff. But yeah, they did some of the new models are really pretty. Okay, this has a little tiny bobbin on the top of it. Where are my smallest pieces? Oh, there it is. It's some kind of little piece of orc tech. Couldn't tell you what it is or what it does, but it looks cool. Where does it go? If I'm holding it like this, it fits. Like this? Yes. Okay. Yeah, for some reason, the instructions for this I don't think the pictures are super great. But everything fits together well, so that's what's important. I think it goes right there. In that orientation. Huh. It'll work. Oh yeah, the helmets with the jaws or the parts that are nailed right to their faces. Okay, now we add some armor plates. Of course. 26, 27. Children. They're going crazy. And there was some kind of promo at Warhammer stores where if you were buying the new Blood Bowl stuff, you could get some free little stuff, patches and little tokens and things. I don't know if that's already done or if those are still around. So if you're thinking about getting the game, you can check in with your local store, see if that's still available. Because again, it's the thing where Games Workshop sells, or Warhammer stores rather, they sell their own products at no discount, so it's full price. Depending on where you shop, either online or at a local store, you may have a discount. Your store might have a loyalty program, things like that, which is cool. And yes, online stores are allowed to discount Games Workshop products to, what is it, 15% or something. But then what Warhammer will do is they'll have some exclusive little bonus items that you can only get if you buy it from them in their own stores. So that's what the trade-off is. Oh my goodness, how do these things work? So there are a bunch of little holes here, and then there's armor panels that attach to the outside. And you somehow have to figure out where those plug in. It might be a case where you just kind of do it wherever you want. I don't know if it has to be in a certain place. I just want to make sure it's not going to drag on the ground if I do it too low or too high. I think that should be okay. also want to make sure I'm doing it on the right side. That one goes there. If it's like this. Wait, I'm confusing myself. Yeah, that should be right. Okay. Good. Good, good, good. Oh yeah, that the Halloween team, the undead, whatever. That's cool. Black Cavalry friended his own 40k racing game. That's neat. Yeah, we need just an overall 40k racing game with all the factions in it. That would be rad. Exactly, Rob. You got those new coins. You need to spend $100. You could do it with just Blood Bowl. Have I tried Gaslands? I have. Yes, I have tried Gaslands. My local store did a Gaslands day where basically people could come in and learn about it. And it seemed really fun. Again, I have some friends who are way into it. One of my model building friends, he is just going all out. He got a bunch of Hot Wheels. He actually took them apart so he could strip the paint and re-primer it and then added a bunch of little tiny bits from Warhammer models and other things, and then painted it all like the most hardcore version. But yeah, Gaslands is oh. But yeah, Gaslands is cool. Yeah, essentially it's just a rule book for how to use your existing Hot Wheels or Matchbox cars in post-apocalyptic vehicular combat. Nope, as like you just said. And yeah, and there's so much opportunity for customizing your existing cars, adding guns and armor and things. And there are companies now that make, well, third-party companies, although I mean Gaslands essentially is, again, it's just a rule book. But there are companies that make the weapons and the things that you read about in Gaslands that are sized appropriately for those toy cars, which is pretty awesome. Okay, let's see. So in theory, these are going to attach just like that. Looks good. And then this one on this side. Oh, I love it when the parts fit together. Okay, so we have glue there, there, and there. Yeah, and my son has a ton of Hot Wheels, so I'm always sort of looking over his Hot Wheels. He loves to give them away to people. I'm like, that's awesome. But let me just look at the ones you're about to give away in case we want to save any for Gaslands. So yeah, we do have plans to get to that one of these days. Oh, Black Cavalier, yes, thank you. I don't have my own Discord, but I'm most active on the Homebuddies Discord. I have my own room there, as well as a Warhammer room. But yes, please go there and post. I'd love to see them. Yeah, we haven't customized any cars yet, but we have cars that we like for it that we'll definitely work on. Ooh, an original Batmobile. Yeah, we have a couple of Batmobiles from different series over time. Definitely want to use those. I want to do something with a Wienermobile. I think that'd be cool. I went and looked, and like the standard Wienermobile Hot Wheels are pretty expensive for Hot Wheels at least. But I guess there was a chrome version they put out, and that one is much cheaper. I think because it's weird and chrome and not the original colors. But if you're going to repaint it anyway, then who cares? So I got to pick up one of those one of these days. Yeah, and it's mostly cars, and you can place some trucks, some motorcycles, some buggies, depending on what your team is. There aren't factions. Well, there are factions, but they're basically determined by what sponsor you play under. And like one of the factions can have light helicopters. One of the factions can have a tank. So there's some cool in there. Cool stuff in there. Yeah, shiny and chrome with my blinged out Wienermobile. Hold this for just 1 second so I don't get any more unsightly gaps. But yeah, this thing's coming along. It looks like the engine assembly in the back has a lot of parts. And then there are a couple weapon systems, and then the wheels, and then the people on board. So there's a fair bit more to go. Now, if I was a truly serious model builder, I'd go in and clean up. There are some pretty gnarly mold lines running across the top here. You can see there's like a white line here and then here. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I don't know exactly what parts are going to be exposed once it's all finished. And also once I add other stuff to it. I know, Darrow, like I said, if I was a serious model builder, I would. But I just want to get this thing built. I don't want it to take forever. I'm sorry, Darrow. It's good to clean your mold lines so your final product is super crisp, but it's also a pain and it takes a long time. And I just want to build. One day my son will be like, "Dad, why didn't you clean the mold lines?" I can actually hear him doing that. It's something he would say. Okay, so this is the engine assembly in the back. Whatever kind of crazy quote-unquote technology runs this thing. My son has a Tamagotchi, and he's in a very weird situation. It's one of these new ones, these Tamagotchi Go. So eventually, like, your character will level up, and then you get married, which then spawns a new egg, and then you move on to take care of that one. So there's like a whole family tree situation. But his latest one were twins. And then that brought up a whole bunch of ethical, moral questions. How you take care of twins in a game like that, and what does it mean? More, questions for us. And then I think he just said that he's at the stage of the game where he can get married, and he can marry his twins together. I don't know if that's quite accurate or not, and what sort of ramifications that has in the Tamagotchi world. What are your choices?
A little white monkey and a yellow and black rabbit.
Oh, you're not marrying your twins together, right?
Actually, yeah. All you every one of your twins.
Hmm.
So.
That's weird.
My first or my second?
I don't know.
Just the white monkey?
Yes. The white monkey.
Okay. Yes or no? Are you really sure?
Yes.
Okay.
See what happens.
Okay, well, actually...
What happened? What happened?
No, okay, it basically deletes a twin. Okay.
It deletes one of the twins.
No, it doesn't. So, shall I, truly marry, like a black sheep?
Black sheep.
Or a fairy?
Or a fairy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Have you interacted with any of those before?
No.
Okay, so they're both new.
Actually, I am interacting
So complicated.
with, a sheep.
Okay, so then do the fairy.
Okay.
If you've already...
I have not interacted with the fairy.
Okay. Alright, we're going to try the fairy. I don't know exactly what that means. Yeah, I'm lacking in official terrain. Although I did just build the Hammerfall bunker, so I have that for terrain. I mainly use kids' toys for my terrain. It works. Oh, and that in my old Heroescape collection of tiles and... I think he proposed one of his Tamagotchi and it refused him. I didn't know that was an option. Very strange game. Yeah, for me, terrain is always, it's that thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna spend money on models, and then sometimes I have a hard time allocating money for terrain when I can just buy more models. All right, how did these fit together? Oh, like that. Good. They're tiny, tiny little holes and pegs. But if you line them up just right, they actually fit together pretty well. Oops. Good. Do the fairy. Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, there's a lot of terrain out there too. From like actual plastic stuff to resin to 3D printed, all the MDF or heavy duty cardboard. Lots of Kickstarters have been done for terrain. So you definitely have options, yeah, when it comes to terrain for your games, which is nice. Okay, well, that's looking pretty cool. All the little engine-y bits. Chugga 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 chugga. Oh, I want to know what this thing sounds like. I need an engine expert. Oh, it's got a very email with an interesting looking subject line. Might be getting some cool review samples down the line. I can't say what it is. Not set in stone. I am working on a HeroClix review. Should go up in a couple weeks. Depending on when other people do their other reviews. Unboxings, as it were. Yeah, it sounds fast and loud for sure. I was thinking about, getting expert opinions on things. Because even though it's essentially it's fantasy how this sort of technology works, but clearly the people at Games Workshop had some some mechanical thoughts involved. How it's a goofy exhaust system, but it does something. Like, there's a reason why all these parts are here. It's based on some sort of real considerations, at least. But yeah, to talk to somebody who knows about such things and get their opinion. Whenever I see in a movie or a TV show or something, whenever I see anybody forging something, I always think, oh, I should ask Gil, like, what's your opinion on how this was made? Because yes, I do know an actual blacksmith. This piece had some odd shear to it when it came off of the sprue. Hopefully that doesn't mess up anything. Yeah, so the indentations here really do help to lock in these parts. I like it. You all know who Gil is. Yes. Man, and I really want to go to Gil's shop and check it out. I know he's technically not supposed to bring people in, but I wonder if I could get a little behind the scenes visit, a little tour. The Pillsbury Doughboy died. His funeral will be held at 3:15 for about 20 minutes. It's a good one. All right, let's finish this. Let's finish this engine, and I think that'll probably be as far as I get today. Oh, he married the goat. Okay. What happened to the other twin?
Maybe you could visit the twin? Maybe that goes with the parents forever? We are kissing.
Oh, they're kissing.
And then one of them says, congratulations, my twin is crying.
Why is it crying?
I don't know. Then we're in a car with bombs attached to it.
No, that's okay. They're just cans. It's like a just married thing. Yeah. To make noise and be festive. Okay. Wait, so one twin got married and is about to have a child, right?
Yes.
But what happened to the other twin? It just gets left behind?
I don't know.
Harsh.
Let's see when I get
harsh.
Okay, I got the egg, but it needs to take a little bit to hatch. Maybe I'll get twins again.
That would be nuts. But it could happen.
So there would be 2 twins and I family free.
It's so complicated. It's ridiculous.
Hatch. Egg is almost hatching.
Alright, so this eventually, so this is gonna plug into the back. I guess I could just do that now, right? Oh, that's cool. Look at that. That massive, crazy engine going on in the back. Right, yes, they kiss and then they have an egg.
No, they kiss, then they're in the car with cans.
Right,
and
yes.
Then there's a black screen, and then they're at home having an egg.
Good. Yeah, catched. What do we get? What do we get?
No twins.
No twins. Okay. All right.
I gotta name him.
I hurt my bottom after shaking in the office. It was a work party injury. That's a good one. All right, so it looks like the last part in the back is this crazy spinning thing, and you can mount it however you want. So I have to decide, do I want it, how offset do I want it compared to the rest of the engine? It's not a block, I guess. I don't know, whatever you... Is it a block? Is it an engine block if it's not in the shape of a block? Probably. I know I'm not really a car guy. I like car stuff, but I'm not super knowledgeable. I think it would look good. Yeah, kind of offset like that. It's definitely not the way they built it in the instructions. How do they have it there? Sort of. I'm just gonna glue it. Now again, if I was a really pro model builder, you could drill through this, put a pin in it, put a pin in both sides, glue the parts to the pin, and then it could spin. I mean, if you were really crazy, you could build a little tiny motor in there. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just gonna glue it on, and it will be fine. Yeah, I like that. It's cute. Look at this, on the very bottom. There are these little what look like wooden floorboards. You will never see that detail on the model. Ever. But it's cute. Alright, we have the main body done. Next time, we've got some supports. We've got there's an orc and a grot who are driving this thing. We've got wheels. We've got the front prow section. And, of course, some guns. Cool. But yeah, that's gonna call it for today. We got kids and things to take care of. Telephone. Hello. We've been working on the Shokkjump Dragsta. It is more than halfway done, but unfortunately, I do have family things I need to go and do and other stuff today, so that is going to be the end of the stream for today, but we will be back. Maybe, I mean, I don't typically work on Warhammer stuff on Fridays, but maybe we'll come back and finish this up on Friday for Figure Friday. It's my show. I can do what I want. Thanks everybody for hanging out today, talking about Orks and a little bit of Blood Bowl. Okay, so I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to take Thursday off again this week. I'll probably... It's nice having the day off because now I do so much on Saturday. But at the same time, I really do like streaming, and I kind of miss being on Thursdays. So we'll see what happens, but not this week. But today at 3 p.m. Pacific time, tune into Pete Wiz's channel, at Pete Wiz. And yeah, we're for myths and video games. He said there's going to be a surprise for me. I don't know what it's going to be. 2 weeks ago, he started playing Hades. We were watching a playthrough of Hades, which was really cool, really fun. Oh, thank you very much for that, Darrow. Yeah, so much to talk about obviously with Greek mythology and the Hades game. I don't know if we're continuing that today or if he has something special in store. We'll have to find out. Saturday, our new Saturday Warhammer stream with Jessica is at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And then you've got a break until we have our Homebuddies group stream Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific. Whew. That's, yes, all the schedules. If you want, you can go over and check out my YouTube channel where I repost streams. Not all of them, but most of them. If they're, good, I post them over there. And, yeah, I think that's, I don't think I have a YouTube command yet. Something to add. There's always more to do. All right, everybody, have a great day. Hopefully I see you later on today over at Pete's channel for myths and video games. Otherwise, I'll see you on Friday for Figure Friday, which, like I said, I'll probably just complete this on Friday. All right, everybody, have a great day, and goodbye.